happened to you a lot?
I don't believe I ever got in. I remember vividly one time getting into it with Pittsburgh fans, but they were actually pretty cool. It was during the course of the game. I actually would take them Gatorade. I'd be like, it'd be hot early season game. I'd be like, you guys thirsty? And I never forget taking them Gatorade, and I was like, God, I hope he doesn't throw this back in my face. And he didn't. But they talk to you super crazy, all fans.
TJ Hushmanzada, I'll throw this out at you, is that in my experience, I had a situation years ago. This was like 20 years ago. I was in South Dakota, and I went jogging, and people waved to me. Hey. I was like, I thought they were like a cousin. I'm like, oh, people. I don't think this happens in Green Bay. I don't think it happens in most Midwest cities. But I think fans in these big Northeast cities, and I'm a coastal guy, but there are cities that are rougher. Pittsburgh's got nice people. It's got a Midwestern feel to it. Green Bay's got a Midwestern feel. Indianapolis has a Midwestern feel. I mean, you were around this league. Did you get treated harsher in certain cities?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the.
New York fans are rough.
What I chalk it up to is it's late in the game. You've had quite a bit to drink. The game's almost over, and he's drunk.
I am shocked. I'm not shocked by this at all because I think players now go on the road in the NFL. You guys almost predict it's coming.
Yeah, if you play long enough, you've seen it all. You've heard it. You just kind of get used to it.
What I'm shocked by is players that tell me of the racial slurs. The idea that I'd be around 30 people and somebody would use a racial slur, every player I've ever talked to said, oh, yeah, I heard those.
As long as they don't touch you, as long as you don't touch me, I'm fine. Because I'll go back at them.
Did you hear slurs?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
It's 2018. I don't understand that.
Well, it was probably 2008, 2010 for me.
Not any better then. So with you now, TJ is going to, I think, bring up. You may take the guy to court.
He's looking into suing him. Yeah.
Would you sue a fan?
Nah, I wouldn't. Over that, no. I mean, he's just proving a point. You can say what you want to say because how I am, I'm gonna verbally say what I want to say. Just don't touch me. As long as you don't touch me, we're cool.
Okay, we're gonna play a game. We call it a stat or bull stat, and we have a stat. And if we think it's a legitimate stat that means something, it's a stat. If you think it's just a bunch of baloney and it's just a random stat that doesn't mean anything, then it's a bull stat. So Joy is going to play it. Here we go. A stat or bull stat?
Real stat or bull stat.
Okay.
So Sunday night, the Bengals face the Chiefs. This could be bad news for the Bengals. Since 2011, the year Andy Dalton was drafted, Dalton has the second worst winning percentage in night games behind only Mark Sanchez. So Dalton has just won 32% of his games at night. So TJ, does this mean that Andy Dalton can't handle the spotlight?
Nah, that's a bull stat. That's coincidence. And the good thing about it is, who did you say they play this weekend?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Terrible defense. Andy Dalton gonna light them up.
Their offense is pretty good.
Their offense is really good. But Andy Dalton will be facing a defense who they can't stop a nosebleed. So it's going to be good for the Cincy offense.
So you think that's a bull stat?
Bull stat. 100%.
I think it's a real stat.
The Bengals going to beat the Chiefs.
He's 3-12 against Pittsburgh. Andy Dalton has a history of shrinking in the biggest games.
A lot of it, honestly.
Well, come on.
They should have won the game Sunday.
Oh, should have.
They should have won. Defense. Just make a play.
Should have, could have, would have.
Make a play.
Andy Dalton has shrunk in big games for years.
He didn't play great this past Sunday against Pittsburgh, but this Sunday, going against this defense, perfect recipe.
So you think it's a bull stat?
Bull stat, for sure, this weekend.
I think it's a real stat. Next one.
Okay, so the Eagles are 3-3, off to an okay start in their quest to repeat as NFC East champs. But there's a stat that doesn't bode well for Philly. No NFC East team has won back-to-back division champs since 2004. That's the longest stretch in any division. So, Colin, does this mean the Eagles won't repeat this year?
I think it's a bull stat. There are coincidences. Yeah, there are coincidences. It's been a very competitive division. Generally in this division, the two giant Super Bowl years in Philadelphia, the team that emerges about November because weather plays a factor in this division, and a lot of teams start hot and then fade. This division has been up for grabs mostly for years, and whoever plays well and is healthy late wins, and that means you have to have depth, and Philadelphia has the most depth of good players. So the fact that this division is decided by a different team every year, I just think it's competitive, it's mostly even, and I think it's a bull stat.
I'm going to call that a real stat. Just he made the argument for me. It's competitive. It's pretty much even. The Cowboys have the best defense in the division. They're fourth in the league in the NFL defensively. The Redskins are playing pretty well. They're up and down. The Eagles play pretty well. They're up and down. The Cowboys play pretty well. They're up and down. All three of those teams can win it. I'd probably choose the Cowboys right now.
All right.
They have the best defense in the division.
Just not just going off that win over
And by the
Jacksonville.
way, Dallas's defense is up front. I would say this is young. Their linebackers are young. Their pass rushers are young. Dallas got a very interesting.
Chris Richard has done a fantastic job with that defense. The Cowboys are very, very formidable defensively.
Okay, sticking with the NFC East, if you're an Eli Manning hater, you'll love this one. Among quarterbacks who have won 100 games during their career, Eli Manning has the lowest win percentage out of any quarterback ever. He's only won 51% of his games. So, TJ, does this mean it's time to put Eli out to pasture?
Oh, man. You know, be honest, if his name was Eli Mitchell, would he still be the starting quarterback?
Nope.
Of course not.
So you think it's a real stat?
One real stat. I mean, that's obvious. It's a real stat. If his last name was not Manning, he would have been a backup quarterback 3 to 4 years ago.
Totally, completely agree. And the other thing is, he's not only a Manning, but he's an incredibly likable Manning.
He's a nice guy. He seems to be a nice guy.
And listen, likability matters. Marcus Mariota, I think, is pretty average. I think he's likable, and I think Tennessee looks at Mariota, and they don't want to say what they really think, which is he's not as good as we thought. I think quarterback is a face of a franchise, and Eli is that droopy, sad face when you pulled him. So I think it's a real stat. I think Eli's been shot for 3 to 4 years.
Do you think they're regretting not taking your boy Darnold?
Of course they are.
Saquon Barkley's having a great year, but it's
mean
not
anything.
mattering. It doesn't matter at all.
Running backs change stats. They don't change outcomes. Darnold's changing outcomes. This is an outcome league. And bottom line is Darnold is the difference this year.
You are forever associated with Sam Darnold.
Yes, I'm proud of
So
that.
the Chiefs are currently 5-1, but their defense definitely doesn't deserve much credit for that. In fact, how about this? The Chiefs have the worst defense of any team in NFL history through the first 6 weeks. They've given up 468.2 yards per game. So, Colin, does this mean Kansas City can't possibly win a Super Bowl?
That's a real stat. Now, they faced Big Ben and Brady, but in the end, the reason they can't stop anybody is because they don't have their pass rush right now outside of D Ford. Their secondary is a mess. Now, can they get better defensively? Yes. But you can't win a Super Bowl with this defense. Because, by the way, again, a lot of offenses look good in September and the first 2 weeks of October. Post-Thanksgiving is the real season, and you got to make stops. You have, by the way, last year, if you go to the playoffs, the Rams got stopped. And the Eagles got stopped by Atlanta and could have lost. And by the way, Brady got stopped on the final drive, and that's why Philly won. Defense will eventually matter in December and January, and unless Eric Berry gets healthy, you cannot win with this defense.
Bull stat. Because of what he just said. Their best defensive player is Eric Berry. When he comes back, he's going to shore some things up. If Kansas City can win some games, which they're going to continue to, it's hard to play in Kansas City, man. It's loud. Offensively, you have to score with them. So it puts pressure on the opposing team's play caller I have to keep up with Kansas City's offense, so you start to get out of character and call plays and do things that you normally wouldn't do. The way they put up points.
Has made some plays.
When they
despite
get
being-
Eric Berry back, they'll be a lot better. He'll shore some things up. Guys won't have to take as many chances. He'll make plays that other guys aren't making.
Remember, Eric Berry has been Gronk's toughest matchup. So if Eric Berry comes back, he took Gronk out of the last game because Gronk basically can be really tough for a linebacker or a safety. So the one thing Kansas City has, if Berry comes back, Andy Reid will put him on Gronk if they met, and he'll take Gronk out of the game. By the way, New England took Travis Kelce out when they played. These tight ends are hugely important.
If you have to go through Kansas City with those fans and that weather, it's tough.
Did you ever play baseball, by the way?
In high school.
Your daughter plays softball.
She plays softball, so I love baseball now.
Yeah. Well, I totally get it. So you're watching these games, the Dodgers, and
Every inning, every game.
you're all in on it.
All in. We went to the first game when they played the Brewers. No, who they played the first round? The Dodgers. I'm getting old.
Braves.
The Braves. We went to that game, and we'll go to the first game, and they play at Dodger Stadium in the World Series.
Well,
If
they're
we
not
make
there
it.
yet.
We'll make it. We'll win. We're going to win tomorrow.
We're
Yeah, we'll win tomorrow.
We're-
Yeah, I'm a huge baseball fan, though, man. I love baseball.
All right. I figured you played. Your daughter's a scholarship athlete baseball player.
Yeah, she can play a little bit. First college game tomorrow.
By the way, have you seen Arizona tonight on Fox? Denver is at Arizona. Have you seen Josh Rosen yet play around a little bit?
Number one.
No,
Rookie
but I mean,
quarterback.
have you seen? You saw him here in L.A. Have you seen him for Arizona yet?
Oh yeah, I've seen him play a couple games.
What do you make of him?
You know, up and down. He's like any rookie quarterback. He doesn't have the offensive line. He doesn't have the weapons around him that the other rookie quarterback has. He's a good running back, but David Johnson isn't having a great year.
Yeah, their O-line's the problem.
And he has Larry Fitzgerald, but Fitz isn't getting the ball. You see his dad comes out and complains that he's not getting the ball much. It's the good thing they played Denver tonight. The last two games, Denver's given up over 200 yards on the ground. Great recipe for a rookie quarterback to have a great game.
Yeah.
Hand the ball off to David Johnson. You can get single high coverage. Easy to find reads for the quarterback.
Yeah. I'll take Arizona tonight in a close game at home. They're pretty conservative, bad O-line. I agree. TJ Hushman's out. Good seeing you, bud. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
So we just talked about these